For the C4, C5, supine position, flex hips and knees until sacrum lifts up off the ground, relax the abdominal cavity, dorsiflexion of ankles, eversion of ankles, we got retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown and away, eyes looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team Euphoric, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to be your own therapist by demonstrating the top 5 ELDOA exercises for posture correction, and more specifically, I'm going to be teaching you how to correct a retracted scapula. Before I get on with the exercises, I want to do a quick recap of what exactly a retracted scapula is and why exactly you should care, and in order to do that, I'm going to need the help of my good friend, Johnny Bones. So Johnny, get over here and show your scap to the camera. This right over here is your scapula or your shoulder blade, and when it is retracted, that means that the scapula is moving toward the midline, so it's moving closer toward the spine. It's a very, very rare condition that not a whole lot of people have, but if you do happen to have it, it can lead to things like neck pain, upper back pain, mid back pain, low back pain, and shoulder pain, so you would want to address it. And one of the ways in which we could address it would be to do some strengthening exercises for the muscles that are responsible for protracting the scapula. We did those a few days ago. I'm going to include a link right up over here to the top 5 strengthening exercises for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula. And in that video, we covered these strengthening exercises for the serratus anterior, the pectoralis minor, and also the pectoralis major. Once you've done those strengthening exercises, a terrific complement to those exercises would be to do some myofascial stretching exercises for the muscles that are responsible for retracting the scapula. We did those a couple days ago as well, and I'm going to include a link right up over here to the top 5 myofascial stretching exercises for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula. And in that, we did the myofascial stretching exercises for the superior, middle, and inferior trapezius, and also the rhomboid major and the rhomboid minor. Let's say you've done the myofascial stretching exercises, you've done the strengthening exercises, and you're still not seeing the benefits that you would like to see. Well, a third problem that may arise is you may have some nerve dysfunction, and the nerves that are going to be affected could be the nerve roots for the nerves that send the signal to the muscles that are responsible for protracting the scapula. And if that happens, what's going to happen is the muscles that are responsible for protracting the scapula are not going to be able to fire properly, and that can lead to a lot of lack of blood flow and oxygen in the area, which can lead to a whole lot of pain. So what we can do to correct that would be to do some ELDOA exercises. The reason the ELDOA exercises are so great is because the whole purpose of an ELDOA is to create space within a joint. So if we create space within a joint, we can improve the function of the nerve roots, and then the nerves are going to be able to send the proper signal to the muscles to fire properly, and that could limit or it can help improve your symptoms of a retracted scapula. So when we are doing the ELDOAs, we want to do the ELDOAs at the nerve roots that are responsible for protracting the scapula. So when we did the strengthening exercises, let's take a look. The serratus anterior, that's going to be innervated by the spinal accessory nerve. More specifically, that's going to be your C3 and C4 nerve roots, also your cranial nerve number 11. Then we have the pectoralis minor and major. Both are going to be innervated by the medial and lateral pectoral nerves, more specifically your C5, C6, C7, C8, and T1 nerve roots. And those are going to be the ELDOAs that we're going to be focusing on today, the nerve roots at that areas. So for today, I'm going to be taking you through the C7, T1 ELDOA, the C6, C7 ELDOA, the C5, C6 ELDOA, the C4, C5 ELDOA, the C3, C4 ELDOA. And without further ado, here are the top 5 ELDOA exercises for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula. For all 5 of the ELDOA postures that I'm going to be demonstrating for you today, the setup position is going to be identical. We're going to be in a supine position, meaning you're laying down on your back, and the only thing that's really going to change from each of the exercises is going to be the positioning of the arms and the positioning of the head. But the first ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula is going to be the C7T1 ELDOA. For the C7T1 ELDOA, we're going to go ahead and get into a supine position, so lay down on your back. We want to flex the hips and knees until the sacrum lifts up off the ground, and we want to relax the abdominal cavity as much as possible. From this position, we want to go into dorsiflexion of ankles by pointing the toes toward our head, eversion of ankles by pointing the soles of our feet away from each other. We want to maintain retroversion of the pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, our chin is tucked in, crown and away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. Then with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders, project the palms downward. And then for this one, we want the arms into abduction of 135 degrees, so we want it above the level of the glenohumeral angle. And then at the head, what we want to do for this one right over here is we are going to lift our head 1 millimeter off the ground. So roughly the width of a piece of paper. You shouldn't be lifting it any more than that. So you want to go ahead and just lightly lift your head up off the ground. And this is the C7T1 ELDOA. Next, the second ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula is going to be the C6, C7 ELDOA. For the C6, C7, almost identical. The only thing that changes is the arm and the head position. We got hips flexed until the sacrum lifts up off the ground. We got dorsiflexion of ankles, eversion of ankle, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown head away, eyes looking down between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders, project the palm downward right by your sides and tuck them in as much as you can, and then you're going to press away with your palms. At the head, for this one, we want to lift the head 1 centimeter off the ground. That's roughly going to be the width of one fingertip. So take a fingertip, put it underneath the back of your head, keep that chin tucked in, and this is the C6, C7 ELDOA. Next, the third ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula is going to be the C5, C6 ELDOA. For the C5, C6, it's almost identical to the one that we just did. Only thing that changes is going to be the arm position. For this one, we're going to go ahead and flex the hips and knees until the sacrum lifts up off the ground. Keep the abdominals relaxed. We got dorsiflexion of ankles, eversion of ankles, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, our chin is tucked in, crown and head away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension. For this one, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders. We want to flex the shoulders to 135 degrees. And then from this position right over here, once again, we're lifting our head 1 centimeter off the ground, so roughly the width of one fingertip. And this is the C5, C6 ELDOA. Next, the fourth ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula is going to be the C4, C5 ELDOA. For the C4, C5, supine position, flex hips and knees until sacrum lifts up off the ground, relax the abdominal cavity, dorsiflexion of ankles, eversion of ankles, we got retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar spine, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown and away, eyes looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension with the arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders. And for this one, we're flexing the shoulders to 90 degrees, so exactly where we are right now, perpendicular to the ground. We're pressing up with the palms, and then at the head, for this one right over here, we want to go 2 centimeters off the ground, so roughly the width of 2 fingertips. And this is the C4, C5 ELDOA. And last, the fifth and final ELDOA exercise for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula is going to be the C3, C4 ELDOA. For the C3, C4 ELDOA, it's basically the exact same thing. We're flexing the hips and knees until the sacrum lifts up off the ground, relaxing the abdominal cavity, dorsiflexion of ankles, eversion of ankles, retroversion of pelvis, flat lumbar, flat thoracic, chin tucked in, crown and head away, eyes looking down between our thighs to put the dura mater under tension with arms, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of shoulders. For this one, we're going to flex the shoulders to 45 degrees, and we're pressing out on a 45-degree angle. At the head, once again, 2 centimeters off the ground. So take 2 fingertips. That's going to be roughly 2 centimeters. And this is the C3, C4 ELDOA. And there you have it. Those were the top 5 ELDOA exercises for posture correction to correct a retracted scapula. If you have a retracted scapula, or if you have issues with regard to neck pain, upper back pain, mid back pain, low back pain, or shoulder pain, go ahead and give those exercises a try. And if you have given them a try, go ahead and drop your comments down in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought of the exercises. In terms of the actual programming for the entire programming, what you want to do is, number 1, you're going to do the strengthening exercises. With regard to the strengthening exercises, you want to do 3 sets of 50 repetitions, and that's 5-0, not 1-5. The reason we're going so high with the repetitions is because we're trying to elicit a postural change, and whenever we're trying to elicit a postural change, one of the most important things is going to be accumulating enough time under tension. And if we do the typical 8 to 12 bodybuilding repetition rep range, we're not going to be able to accumulate that time under tension. So 3 sets of 50 repetitions for each of the strengthening exercises. Then, once you've completed the strengthening exercises, next you're going to do the myofascial stretching exercises. For the myofascial stretching exercises, you want to do 3 sets of a 30-second hold on each side. And once again, we're going to be doing them every single day because we're trying to elicit a postural change. If we do these only once a week or once a month, you're not going to be able to see the true benefit of the myofascial stretches. So 3 sets of 30-second hold every single day. And then last, once you've done the strengthening and then you've done the stretching, the last thing you want to do is finish off with the ELDOA exercises. For the ELDOA exercises, what you want to do is a 1-minute hold for each of the ELDOA postures. And that's 1 minute from the time you get into the final posture, not 1 minute from the time that you start to get set up. And with regard to the ELDOAs, this one right over here, it should feel like you are going all out for that entire minute. It shouldn't feel easy. If it feels easy, you're probably not doing it correctly. So 1 set of a 60-second hold going all out for 1 minute is what you want to do for the ELDOA postures. And that's pretty much it for today's video. If you have any questions at all with regard to anything that you saw over the last week, go ahead and drop your questions down in the comment section so I can help you guys out. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to keep making these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.